Welcome to our next guest, Bob Marshall, who's a candidate for the position of Area Councillor on the City of Victor Harbor Council. Bob, what experience could you bring to Council from your previous business or community activities?
Well, in 1995 I was first elected to local government. I was an elected member of Mitcham Council in the Adelaide metropolitan area for almost 12 years. During that time I was Deputy Mayor for 4 years and Acting Mayor on numerous occasions. As part of my role on the Mitcham Council, I was also a member of the Board of Directors of the Centennial Park Cemetery Authority and was Chairman of the Authority for approximately a year. In my own area, I was an electrical contractor, had my own business for about 30 years, doing most of my work for the University of Adelaide in scientific equipment repairs and laboratory renovations. Towards the end of my working career, I was employed in the funeral industry, and that was a great opportunity to help families, grieving families, when they needed some help the most. I really got job satisfaction out of that. So yes, that's really what I could bring to the council, I believe, that expertise and that understanding.
What does good governance of council mean for you?
Well, I find governance as a word a bit annoying. It's a very bureaucratic word, but I understand good governance to be a good working relationship between the elected members, the staff, and in particular the CEO, to provide the best outcomes for the ratepayers, and we certainly need harmony within the council to achieve that. I think that the ratepayers are the ones we're there to serve. Both staff and elected members need to keep that as the most important thing in the forefront of their minds.
Over the last 4 years, there have been instances of disharmony on council. How might you be able to assist such a situation?
Well, yes, there has been disharmony, and I think it's been widely reported in the media. It's very sad that it's happened. I'm afraid this is what happens when you get factions forming in any level of government. The only way that this can be solved is by the voters selecting the right people. I'm obviously not going to mention any names, but voters looking at South Coast Television can see what's been going on in the chamber, and it's down to them to select the right people for the job.
An important issue of council has been the costs associated with businesses operated by council, such as the Horse Tram, the Business Information Centre, the Fleurieu Regional Aquatic Centre, the Fleurieu Waste Authority. Would you care to express an opinion about that?
Well, my view is that council should never be involved in running businesses. Unfortunately, we've got some here that traditionally have been run by the council. Waste management, of course, we have no option. We have to deal with that because that's core council business. When we look at the other issues such as the Aquatic Centre, the Horse Tram and the Information Centre and the Whale Centre, I believe that they would be much better run by private enterprise. But we're in a difficult situation here at the moment in the council because these businesses are all losing money, and I don't know that private enterprise is going to take over anything where they're losing money.
A major issue for many people in the community is the cost of rates. Would you please express a view about rate capping or increases in rates?
Well, I strongly support rate capping because I believe that councils need to get back to core services. Roads, rates and rubbish, as the old saying goes. That's what we're here for, and that's what we should be doing. I believe that the only way to stop councils wasting money is to set limits on the amount of rates that they can charge. We've got to be smarter with how we're spending the rate dollar, spend it on essential services rather than grand schemes which are often promoted by minorities within the community that the majority probably doesn't benefit from.
What's your view on the current committee structure within council?
Well, I have major concerns about the current structure of the committees. I believe the terms of reference all need to be amended. There are far too many non-elected people on those committees. Elected members were elected by the community to run the council, not people with no mandate from the community to do so. I think in the new term of council we need to do a complete review of our Section 41 committees, a review of all the terms of reference, and I believe that one of the best ways to get through the business of council and have elected members dealing with this would be to have 2 or maybe even 3 council meetings a month. 2 or 3 shorter meetings would be better than one long drawn-out meeting.
Would you comment on the topic of the community forums operated by council?
Yeah, well, this is one of my pet subjects, because in fact when I was first elected in 2010 I moved that the council hold an annual forum. Every time there's a new election there's a candidates forum, so the intent there was for every 12 months following the candidates forum that we have a council forum where the ratepayers can come and talk to their elected members. My view is that it hasn't worked well because some time ago the administration was using this opportunity as a PR exercise rather than hearing from the ratepayers to hear what they needed. My view is that it's still not working as well as it could, and in future if I'm re-elected I'll be pushing that the forum management be handed over to the Victor Harbor Community Action Group to run, so that there's a total independent running of the forum without any influence on council members, staff or elected members.
State government is pushing more obligations onto councils. What do you think about that trend?
Well, this is not new. It's been happening for 20 or 30 years. State government has been trying to hive off a lot of its activities to local government without adequate funding. I don't know what the answer is. It's just going to continue to happen. State government seems to have no money and they seem to want to put the responsibility of carrying out these activities onto councils, who then in turn need to raise their rates. So I guess it's the state government and federal government's way of getting the work done but them not having to pay for it.
Building development and control is now regulated by a panel on which council has a reduced input. What do you think about that situation?
Well, once again, this is something that's been in the making and has been happening for the last probably 15 years. In my view, when I first got into local government, the elected members were the ones who made the decisions on planning matters. And sadly, some of the elected members didn't understand the rules, didn't know the rules, didn't understand why they were there. So it was only natural that the developers and the builders and those who were getting their development applications refused would want to change that. So in the last particularly 10 years, the Minister for Planning has tried to reduce and remove elected member influence from council development assessment panels, and the idea, I believe, is to replace them with so-called professional people. Unfortunately, I think it's going to give developers more and more opportunity to do what they want to do and not necessarily what the community wants from them.
Could you please provide a brief outline of the reasons why people should vote for you at the forthcoming November council elections?
Well, look, I think I've got a track record of being honest and transparent, straightforward. What you see is what you get. I'm not a member of any political party. I'm not a member of any group that's agitating for any particular thing to happen in this town. I just feel that I'm part of the community. What I vote for benefits the community, it also benefits me. And I just want to see Victor Harbor go ahead and be a nice place for everyone to live. We get some good decisions made by the council, and of course we limit rate rises to the absolute minimum, hopefully just to inflation. So that's really my motivation, and that's what I would promise the community.
Authorised by Robert Kenyon Marshall, 27 Burke Street, Victor Harbor, South Australia. Spoken by Adrian Burton and Robert Kenyon Marshall.
South Coast Television, your community, your voice.